What's up, Juggalos, Juggalettes? Mankini here with Mankini TV and Juggalo News, and I'm at the Angels Envy Speakeasy here at Louder Than Life 2019. I'm here with Kyle and Wes Henderson. Henderson.
I don't know whether to have you arrested or whether to sit down for an interview.
You want to sit on my lap?
No. I'll sit right here.
If you'd like, you want me to sit there?
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
So first things first, thanks for having me and sitting down with me. I really appreciate it. On my way in, I grabbed something called the Funk. This is something you guys have worked with mixologists to create specifically for Angels Envy. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah. So we've got a team of we call them whiskey guardians around the country, and they are bartenders in their respective cities that are brand ambassadors for us in their areas. And we brought a few in for Bourbon Beyond, Hometown Rising, then this week for Louder Than Life, and created 3 cocktails specifically for these concerts with our whiskey for people to enjoy different aspects of the product.
Wow, well, that's amazing. I can tell you, this is delicious. When I watched them make this with the smoke and everything, I was taken back, and the flavor is phenomenal. Let's talk about whiskey real quick, obviously. What is a bourbon whiskey?
Bourbon whiskey. So there's a quick ABCs we use to kind of educate some people, especially in the distillery. We call them the ABCs of bourbon. Firstly, the A is for American made. So bourbon has to be made in the United States of America. That was codified in 1964 in the CFRs, and there's a bunch of international treaties protecting that. B is for the barrel. It has to go in a new charred oak barrel. So legally, I can only use that barrel one time. The first time, that is it. C is for corn. Bourbon has to be made with at least 51% corn. In the case of Angels Envy, all of our whiskeys are 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. That's what we call the mash bill, the grain bill, the predominant ingredients making up the product. D is for the distillation proof. So when we distill the beer, we make beer with that mash. It doesn't taste very good on its own. We really need to distill it to bring out the flavor. When we distill it, we're not allowed to distill it more than 160 proof or 80% alcohol. If you go above that, you start to get a light whiskey. If you go high enough, you get vodka, grain neutral spirits. By distilling less than 160, you retain a lot of the flavor of the grain, which is very, very important to bourbon's flavor profile after it ages. E is for the entry proof. So that barrel, when we put the alcohol in the barrel, not more than 125 proof or 62.5% alcohol. Reasoning for that is at a lower proof, you will begin to have a good balance of alcohol and water. And in that barrel, there's a lot of alcohol-soluble elements and a lot of water-soluble elements. So the alcohol and the water during aging will interact. It will begin chemical breakdown of the wood and give you a lot of the flavor. So like your drink over there, most of that color is coming from the whiskey itself. When we distill the whiskey, it's clear. All of the color is coming from the barrel, which is that chemical interaction of that charred barrel. And then F is going to be for flavors. We're not allowed to have any flavors at all. You can't add any flavoring or coloring. So bourbon whiskey is a very natural product. So you take grains, you ferment them into a beer, you distill the beer, and you age it in a new barrel, and that's bourbon whiskey in a nutshell. Now, Angels Envy is very, very unique. So most brands, after that process, they stop. They bottle it, you're done. Angels Envy, my dad and my grandfather came up with this really cool concept to do a secondary barrel maturation. So we procured some port wine barrels. You can see them sitting around us. Those are a Portuguese-style dessert wine, very sweet dessert wine. We actually put our whiskey in them after about 6 years of aging in the new barrel. We go into that barrel for about 6 months, and that's going to lend a little bit of sweetness, some of the texture you get from the residual bits of port. It gives it a really nice balanced characteristic to that whiskey.
Wow, I just got educated on that right there. That is amazing. And you mentioned your father and grandfather. So have you guys always worked with bourbon? Is this something that's in your family you've been doing forever?
The family has been doing this in one way or the other since 1965. Wow. So my grandfather, Lincoln, worked at Brown-Forman for 39 years. And when he retired, he was retired for what, 4 years? And my dad kind of went up to him and said, I'd like to do something with you, create something for the family. And I don't think it took a whole lot of convincing because we turned around and my dad and my grandfather started this company. I came on board in 2010 to begin to learn the operational aspect from my grandfather and took over the operations in 2013 after he passed away. So yeah, more or less, 55 years coming on now?
Wow, so you guys have this down to a science, down to a T. And like you brought up earlier, you got your mixologists around the world, and obviously your process for this. let's talk a bit about how you guys ended up at Louder Than Life with this speakeasy here.
100% him.
We're one of the inaugural sponsors of Louder Than Life. Back when Danny Wimmer and Danny Wimmer Productions decided to do this festival, we thought it was going to be great for the city, and that was really the basis that we decided to join it. And nothing goes better with rock and roll than bourbon. So it's just kind of a good fit. And now this is, I think, our 5th or 6th year, whatever. I don't know what year we're on now. They're all fuzzy after a while. But this year's going to be killer, man. I mean, with the Guns N' Roses headlining tonight, Disturbed tomorrow night, and last night Slipknot. So it just keeps getting better and better. So all those things work, and we're having a great time.
Now, obviously, with all these bands you've mentioned, do you guys get time to walk away while you're here and enjoy the music that's going on?
We make time. Yeah.
I've got my list. I mean, I try to see as much as I can, but we're here to work.
Absolutely.
But there's some artists that I really enjoy, and like I'll be with other 45,000 people out there tonight watching Guns N' Roses, I'm sure. So, but there's some great bands. There's a little bit for everybody. I mean, as we know, Louder's a little I'd say a little harder, on the harder side. But I think even if that's really not your cup of tea, there's some middle ground as well. So it's a little bit for everybody.
You're absolutely right. I actually try and hit as many of these festivals as I can. I think it's a really cool idea, mixing the bourbon. Obviously, they do Bourbon and Beyond as well, where they, the full bourbon thing. But to have something like this at a rock metal festival really adds to what's going on here. Are there any other festivals, any other music type events that you guys would attend with your bourbon that you would bring there, or is this kind of the only thing you do like this?
We're really not. I mean, our connection with this has more to do with the fact that it's a local endeavor, and we're very in tune with the growth of Louisville, and we have a beautiful distillery downtown that's a tourist destination. So this is just part of the overall strategy to make Louisville a destination. I mean, we have connections with music. I mean, Angels Envy traditionally, though, is a kind of a hand sell brand. We're not typically a brand that markets to the masses. I mean, I'd rather sit down, not rather, I don't know if that's a fair thing to say, but sometimes a bourbon dinner with 20 or 30 people for 2 or 3 hours where I can just, really get into the deep dive. I enjoy that better, and I'm better at that. But this is a way to be part of the community, expose our bourbon to more people, and have a good time.
We're all having a good time. I'll actually tell you guys something. I knew about you guys before this event a couple years ago. My girlfriend's brother was given 2 bottles of your bourbon as a birthday gift. And he said, I'm only opening one of these. I've never seen anything like this, never tasted anything like it. The other one sits on a high shelf locked up, and he says no one ever touches it. And I had my first sip, and I said, this is delicious. I've never seen this. I was amazed. So obviously this all happened when I saw you guys. I was like, oh my God, I get a chance to sit down and actually talk to them about their bourbon. So we've talked the process, we've talked the family. I'd just like to ask you guys something. Pineapple on pizza.
Oh, no. No.
Hell no.
No.
Not
No.
just no, hell no.
But being in Kentucky, no pineapple on pizza. Barbecue down here?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit of barbecue. We're seeing actually, believe it or not, we're seeing an explosion of Nashville chicken here in Louisville, which I don't know where that's coming from.
It's good, though.
But it's really good. Louisville's kind of an interesting place. It's kind of the South and kind of the North, so it's an interesting kind of collision of cultures. So that's why I say it's got the how do I say that? It's got the culture of the North, but the manners of the South. But yeah, definitely no pineapple on pizza. It's just raw, unless you're in Hawaii and carrying a surfboard around.
That's acceptable, I guess.
I don't even think that's acceptable. I don't care if you have a surfboard and you're from Hawaii. If you're putting pineapple on your pizza, you need to leave. Dude, what are some of the best foods you think pair well with your bourbon?
Oh man! So in the distillery, we actually pair we call it an orange schmear, which is a really rich, velvety citrus chocolate that we actually pair with every tour that comes in. So we give you an experience with the fattiness and the creaminess of the chocolate. And it's really important to us because a lot of people don't think of pairing spirits with food. People pair beer with food and wine with food. They have a long time. But spirits do the same thing, and they change the way you perceive both the food and the product when you pair it with something. So we like chocolates, meat, barbecue works really well. Talk about that. I don't know, you do a lot of those dinners. Anything crazy?
The bourbon is so versatile with the flavor profile You see it in a lot of sauces, and a lot of marinades, especially sauces, I think, because you can reduce it. He's got the sugars in it, you can reduce it down. But I think I love bread pudding with the bourbon sauce. We've made bananas Foster, and which is phenomenal. We will flambe the Angel's Envy rye on the bananas Foster. There's a million things. Chocolate goes very well with bourbon. Cheeses, believe it or not, pair very well. It's an interesting journey with different types of cheeses. So, but you can have bourbon with all three meal groups, all three meals if you want to. You find something that you can have it with.
So speaking of enjoying it, what do you guys say is the best way to enjoy your bourbon?
However you want. Seriously. I mean, we'll drink it on the rocks. We'll drink it neat. We do a lot of different cocktails. You can, you've got a couple in front of you. But as long as you're enjoying it, we don't care how you do it. It's really up to you. Your taste profile, the way you enjoy the product is yours. You have a different perception than I do. We've got different perceptions than my father. So everybody likes different things, and we're okay with that.
And I'm not so much into how you drink it. I believe you should drink it. It should be part of a social experience. Drink it with your friends, drink it with your family, drink it as part of in gatherings and celebrations and stuff like that. That's where I want to see the spirit shared.
Absolutely. One last thing, where'd the name Angel's Envy come from?
That's you.
That's me. There we go, back and forth. There we go. All right. We're a little crazy here. Angel's Envy comes from a phrase called the Angel's Share. The Angel's Share is the bourbon that evaporates out of barrels in a warehouse, so it goes up in the air. We say we're sharing that with the angels. So the story is they get their share. What's left they're envious of, and that's where the name Angel's Envy came from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I really like that. Well, Kyle,
Thank you, sir.
Wes, it's been an absolute pleasure. Seriously, I'm probably gonna hang out in this speakeasy the rest of the day in my bikini. I might even do I might do a calendar shoot or something in there. I don't know.
We have a bearskin rug in there.
Can I lay on it?
All right, two words for you: sunblock.
Well, again, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. This is delicious, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.